excited. I took some notes because the last video I made, which was my first video, um, I had some all over the place with my mind scattered thoughts, very hard to, I'm doing it again, organize my thoughts. It's hard to organize my thoughts. So I've been having seizures, and my neurologist thinks that it's the seizures that are giving me the issue. So I got put on different seizure medicine. So anyway, I got my camper. So exciting. I got a Riverside Retro 2017 181B. And it's getting delivered on December 26th. Oh, the trailer I got, the person that owned it before me got double insulation because he planned on camping in cold weather. So that's really cool because I'm going to be living in it in cold weather. There was an issue with the delivery. The dealer told me it was going to be $1.79 per mile. It's 41 miles away. So I figured, okay, 80 bucks, 160 tops if they, charge me for their round trip. And the salesman had the delivery guy call me, and the delivery guy says, okay, so you know about the delivery fee, because I don't have anything to tow it yet. I'm getting that in June or May, I think. And I said, yeah, the dealer told me, or the salesman told me about the delivery fee. He said, okay, so it's going to be $545 or something like that. And I'm like, no. The salesman told me it was $179 per mile and you're 41 miles away. And he's like, who told you that? I said, the salesman. And he said that, no, I get charged $125 an hour and you're an hour and a half away from us. And I have to spend an hour there doing the demonstration so you know how to use everything. And then it's another hour and a half for me to drive back. And I said, well, I can't afford to shell out. Oh, I see my kitty. My kitty's on its little bed there, I think. Yeah. His name is, that's Mrs. Cat Jones. She's going to be living in the camper with me. So the delivery guy said he would call or talk to the dealer and the manager and see what they could work out. 5 minutes later, my salesman called me and said, we're going to deliver on the 26th at no charge. So that was good news, because that wasn't right, that they told me it would be less than it was. That just wasn't right. So I'm glad they made good on that. The camper is red and white, and it has bunks in the back and a U-shaped dinette. So it's got a huge dinette. Oh, excuse me. A huge dinette that can go down into a queen-size bed. And I'm not sure. I don't want to make any modifications until I've lived in it for a little while, so I know for sure what I want to do. But I was thinking about taking the bottom bunk out and making a drawing area there, and then making the dinette into a full-time, bed, because I don't like the idea of changing bed to table back and forth. So if I make under the bunk a dining area, or I thought about getting a folding bistro set to store under the mattress, because the camper is like 8.5 feet wide or 8 feet wide or something. So it's plenty wide enough for a tiny bistro set. So that's an idea I had too. So if I have a different place to eat, then I would make the U-shaped dinette into a full-time bed. I would keep the top bunk for when my daughter's with me, so she can have her own space. And the only other hack I was thinking about doing was possibly cutting a circle in the cabinet door under the sink for the cat's litter box. And I thought that might, devalue the camper if I go to trade it in, if I want to downsize to an even smaller camper, which would be awesome. So instead of cutting the hole in the cabinet door, I'll just remove the cabinet door and maybe put some pretty fabric, like a fabric curtain down there, so the cat could go in and out and she can do her thing in the litter box. instead of normal litter, I found a much better system because I cannot stand the smell of clay litter. Even if it's not messy yet, the clay dust smell is horrible, and in a tiny living space, it's just going to multiply and be worse, and I wouldn't be able to take it. So I found a system I started using a couple months ago called Breeze, and it has these ceramic pellets that it's almost like they're in a strainer, and under the strainer is a disposable pad, like a puppy wee pad, and it absorbs wetness. So the cat goes and it goes through the pebbles and into the pad, and you change the pad once a week. There's no odor at all. And when she does her number two, it stays on top of the pellets, and you just scoop it out and throw it away. And it doesn't even stick to the pellets, which is very cool. And then I found instead of rebuying the pellets once a month like they want you to do, since they're hard ceramic, you could just spray them off with a hose and they're clean again. You could even use soapy water, or like an antibacterial soap with water, which is what I do. So that's my plan for the litter box. And I think it's going to work out great. And I'll have company in the camper with me all the time with my kitty. Mrs. Cat Jones is her name. So as far as the house I'm in right now, instead of selling it, what my son and I have agreed to do, he is 22, unless he's 23. I'm such a bad mom. Let me see, he was born in 96, July. Okay, so he's 22. And guess what? He's having a baby. So he and his girlfriend are due in April. And I'm going to be, well, I think I already am, a proud grandma. So they rent a 1-bedroom apartment right now from Abby's mom. Abby's my son's girlfriend, the mother of my first grandchild. And she's great and I love her. I love everybody. I'm such a hippie, but I love her. She's so good for my son and he's so good for her, and I'm just so happy for them both. So anyway, they're going to take over the mortgage. My son has great credit, but because he's so young, he doesn't have a long credit history, so he can't get approved for a mortgage. So he is going to, I put him on as a co-signer of the camper so he can build up his credit, and they're going to move into the house here. And instead of paying rent toward a 2-bedroom that they wanted to get, they're not throwing the money away. The money's going toward this mortgage, which eventually my son's going to own the house anyway. I'm leaving it to him when I pass away. And if they decide to move into something larger, which I think might be their plan, but if they don't, that's cool too. But if they move into something larger, they can either rent this out or I'll move back in and I'll take over the mortgage again. So that's the plan. And the awesome part about them taking over the mortgage, I have a huge yard here. And I have a garage for storage. And I have an attic for storage. So I'm going to get rid of stuff. I have so much stuff that you just don't need. Like when I downsized into this bungalow from my 4-bedroom house, man, I got rid of, it had to be a dumpster full of stuff that I put up on the Let Go app. And it felt so good just to let it go. And the only reason I had to bring so much stuff with me is I couldn't get rid of it quick enough and I had to move into this house. So instead of paying for a storage space, I just moved it into the garage. So I still got to go through the garage and get rid of some things. But like my art supplies and the kids are going to keep a lot of the furniture I have in the house. The only things I'm going to store in the garage would be these 2 futons I have. And I think that's it. My daughter's bed, she has a twin bed with a trundle. So I may use those mattresses in the bunk area. I may have to cut them so they're not as wide. And we may use those in the bunk area, the camper. And I'll be getting rid of a lot of clothes I don't need. I'm not shooting weddings anymore, so I don't need my professional clothing. I have, the clothes I wear to my teaching job, which are clothes that I'd wear anyway. So I'm really just so excited. So excited about this new adventure. I plan on getting an SUV or a truck in June. I may get a second job to save up some money to put toward the truck because it would be cool to keep my car and then just have the truck to pull the camper. Because I also plan on doing craft shows, travel and do craft shows around the country. So I need something that I could detach from the camper and bring to a craft show with my work in it. So an SUV might be better because I have, it's covered and protected. Um, so I don't know. I still have to figure that part out. Okay, so the only thing I didn't mention is showering, toileting, using the toilet, and my laundry. All that I'll be able to do in this house. When I'm on the road, I plan on if I'm boondocking, I'm going to join a chain gym that's around the country, maybe Planet Fitness. That way I can work out and also get my shower in, no matter where I go. Storage, I may store my drawing pads under mattresses. I'll probably use the shower for storage unless I'm traveling and have somewhere that I could hook up to use the shower. My son's an electrician, so he's going to. I have space in my breaker box, my breaker panel box. I don't know what it's called. I'm not the electrician. He is. So we have empty breaker space. So he's going to create a dedicated breaker for electric to the camper and have an outdoor outlet for me for the camper for that breaker. Also, eventually, sooner than later, I'm going to see about getting solar panels attached to the roof. And that's it. So if you haven't already, click subscribe and follow my journey. I will have my camper on the 26th, which is like a week away. And I'm just so looking forward to this. I made my logo. I made my website, roamingartworks.com. And I have an Etsy store where I sell the artwork that I make while I'm traveling, which I already have artwork in there from before I got the camper. So check it out. Share my channel or webpage with anyone that could be interested. I want to do this full time. And by selling the artwork that I make, it's going to make this so possible for me. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer anything, and I plan on updating weekly or even more often if there's anything new to report. All right, thanks for watching and thank you for your support.